Even the best happen.
Just to read my mind.
That's right.
Conference will now be recorded.
Is the red light on the camera?
Yes, it is. All right, we'll begin with the flag salute. All right, here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go to the chair behind you. The chair behind you.
Yours, the chair is reserved.
All right, we welcome everybody to the Marion County Commission meeting, September 18th. We begin with the revenue neutral rate hearing. First, we need to verify that a quorum of members is present, and there is. I'm sure Jonah will be joining us shortly, so we have a full complement, but we do have a quorum. The first step would be to allow members of the public to speak. Hopefully everybody is signed in. And if you would like to make comments, please come up to the seat with the microphone. And Randy, pull the microphone up. That way people online or people listening can hear the comments. So whoever would like to go first, have a seat, state your name, and we'll limit it to 3 minutes. I think that'd be fair. Give everybody 3 minutes to make comments. So who would like to go first?
I'll go ahead.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Clayton. I am a new resident to Peabody, so
Okay.
this is my first introduction to the county commission.
Okay.
I work for the state, but I'm not here in my capacity as the state. I'm actually off the rest of the day. So I went through the proposed budget, and I just had a couple of questions I was curious about if you could
Sure.
provide some simple
Absolutely.
answers to. Could you explain in some kind of detail what the estimated cost would be for, or why you're increasing the courthouse improvement budget by $600,000? Is that for scheduled improvements?
Yes, actually, we've had a number of improvements. As you know, historical buildings take a lot of expense, a lot of maintenance. There's a lot of stonework that needs to be done. And we feel it's a very, very important, significant part of our history and our heritage, and continuing moving forward to protect that for our citizens.
Okay.
It's up high too.
And it's also, it's the top. The easy part's done.
Sure,
It's the
the
hard
top
part
part,
that's
okay.
left. Yes.
There was also what looks like to be an increase of about $90,000 for the emergency management department.
Yes.
Could you explain what that increase was for?
Emergency management, we have an outstanding director. We have a number of programs that we're trying to implement and help protect our citizens. So that's where that increase would be.
Okay.
And Tina, our county clerk, or Scott Lloyd, or any other commissioner, please feel free to.
Yeah,
So
the role of that position has evolved greatly to where she covers so many different things that the public, on a daily basis really doesn't know what she does. It's just an ever-expanding role based on government regulations.
Okay. I'm familiar with those.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
You would know.
Yes.
And
$41,000 of that increase is due to some radio upgrades that are coming down
Okay.
from higher up.
And again,
A mandate that could be
mandate.
coming, and then
Mhm.
also during this last year, we added a deputy director to the department, so
Okay.
that's why that increased.
And there was a line item for vehicle purchase?
That's the way at the county that we save up for vehicles.
Okay.
So each year, if like a department that's within the general fund, we add additional amount each year till we have the amount that we need to be able to purchase that vehicle in a couple more years.
Okay.
So,
I thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want to take up too much of
Sure.
your time. Real quick, I noticed there was also a reduction in the road and bridge amount set aside in the general budget, and it's a reduction of about $300,000 from last year's, or from this last year's budget. Is it the commissioner's opinion that the roads don't need as much work this next year as they did this year, or just making room for other items, and that was the best place to take the money from?
Absolutely not. We're making more investments in road and bridge. I'm not quite sure which specific line in Road and Bridge.
I believe it's the transfer to capital improvement, and that, the
Oh,
reason for
great,
that
yes,
is
yeah.
because we did a bond issue.
Yeah,
okay.
And so
Yeah.
the tax dollars are moved to a different line item to make the bond payment.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you, Gina.
I have two things real
Sure.
quick and then I'll be done.
Okay.
The line item for the county administrator position,
Mhm.
I know are you still in the
Yes.
search for that with the
Yes.
firm that you've contracted
Yes.
with? So I just wanted to clarify, that's what that is expected salary for starting next year?
Correct.
Okay. Last question, and this is, I'm sure this is somewhat of a hot topic. I noticed that for the last 3 years and including next year, you have a 0 line item for economic development. Is there any intention of having a conversation about that, or is that too hot of a topic to try to get out here in the next 5 minutes before?
I might let one of the more seasoned commissioners address that. I don't know if they were here when some of the historical things happened.
It's not out of the topic,
Okay.
but there was a lack of management over that position. And so it's been there, but we've set other things aside to try helping our communities not just one, but all. And there's a few things where you can count was $1,000 for just different topics and things like that, 4th of July and stuff like that, just things like that. But we do not have any search for the economic director right now.
Okay. That's
Very
my
good.
questions.
Very good question.
Thank you. I appreciate the time very
Yes,
much.
thank you. Who would like to go next?
Seats warmed up.
That's right. The ice
hot
is-
seat.
The hot seat.
The ice is broken.
Did a good job.
Yes, we got a good start.
My name's Steve Schmidt. I actually live in Heston, but I own property in Marion County at 384 240th Road, so I'm a county taxpayer. Just to clarify, are we having a revenue neutral hearing and then a budget hearing?
Correct.
Or you want it all at once?
So actually, we'll do the revenue neutral rate hearing first, close it, and then we will have a budget hearing.
Okay, because most of my comments have to do with budget.
Okay, but you will have an opportunity to address budget.
Okay, I will say that I do not believe revenue neutral is realistic. I mean, your costs go up just like everybody else's, and I'm not sure why the state decided to muddy the water presenting, tax issues in that manner. So I have no issue with voting to exceed the revenue neutral rate. My issue is by how much.
Okay,
And I want to address
okay.
mill rate topics. Is that better left for the budget hearing, or?
I'm gonna defer to the experts, am I right?
Yeah. Basically, I think this first hearing is just to discuss the difference between the revenue neutral rate and what Marion County is publishing. But in all the hearings I go to, they get discussed in both, so it's kind of up to what.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're comfortable, you're at the seat, if you'd
Sure,
like to go ahead.
let's go for it. Okay, here's my thesis, okay?
Mhm.
We need less government, not more government,
Mhm.
and we need to keep government spending under control,
Mhm.
and we need to start somewhere. And so my idea of a somewhere to start would be to hold the mill rate for this year constant with what it was before, at 75 mills. That's kind of where I'm running with things. I believe that additional money to cover increased cost, increased programs, new programs, should not come from higher mill rate taxing. It should come through the growth and assessed valuation. Because obviously mill rate times assessed valuation gives you revenue. I think the assessed valuation should be a good indicator of economic activity in the county, and I think it should correlate with the need for county services. So I don't think it's proper to add higher and higher mill rates to higher and higher valuations. And I put together a little.
Take one, pass them down.
Yeah, pass one, pass it, to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. I'm afraid I'm gonna go over my 3 minutes, but I'll try and go fast. made some notes to be concise.
That always helps. That helps us too. There we go. Okay.
So we'll start with side A, and I
Mhm.
looked at 2021, 2022, and now proposed for 2023, which to confuse everything, the 2023 rate is for your 24 budget, but anyway. We had 75 mills basically in 21, 75 in 22, and now an increase to just over 76 mills. So that's a 1.4% change over 2 years. The assessed valuation has been going up, and it's up 8.4% over that same period of time. And so, bottom line there, the revenue, the county revenue has steadily grown, and with your proposed mill rate, we'd be looking at a 9.9% increase in overall revenue from 2021. And so, I guess my objection is going up on the mill rate. And so if you go to side B, here's what I would like you to consider. Stay at the 75 mill rate. We have 8.4% increase in assessed valuation since 2021. And that mill rate times the assessed valuation would give you just over $13 million still. That's a difference of a reduction of 182,000 roughly from what you're proposing. And so if I understand things right, that mill levy revenue applies to these items on the budget. I call those ad valorem tax items, and that would reduce that to $25,592,035. That'd be a 0.7% reduction from what's proposed. And I guess from my experience as a former city engineer, as a consultant for cities over the years, you know, I think you could do that across the board, reduction of 0.7% by going with a 75 mill rate. And I'd sure like to ask you to consider that.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Who would like to be next? I pulled the microphone a little closer to you. I know online you have a hard time hearing. Thank you.
My name is Martha. I live in Clear Creek Township.
Yes.
I kind of second Steve in that I wish you'd consider a lower mill rate, and I'd also like to ask why there couldn't be a compromise. It seems like we come into this whether either we increase it or we don't increase it. Nobody talks about increasing it in between. And I was wondering when you asked, and I saw that it was Scott Lloyd, I believe, that drafted the budget. Did you ask him to draft a budget at the current level and the above level and consider the differences in
Yes.
between?
Yes, we spend over 40 hours meeting with Scott and Tina, going through every department, every line.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because, like what Steve said, the ad valorem taxes are not all of the budget. The total budget, it says, was 34 million, and the ad valorem tax part was 13 million, right? And the difference in the mill levy, when I look at a mill levy of being 76 versus 72.8, was only like $500,000, 558,000 if I calculated it right. So you're not talking, when you keep the mill rate lower, you're not talking about a big amount of money. Second thing I want to say is in terms of economic development, we've had this discussion before that we have a higher tax rate in this county, and lowering it a notch or two, I think we're number 33 on the list of how high we are out of 105 counties. If we lowered it, it would be, if we lowered it halfway in between, like a point or two, we'd drop 1 or 2. Every little bit makes a difference. We expect to have, I keep being told, some income from wind farms. We do have some income now from the pipeline. So we have other sources of income besides just keep increasing the mill levy all the time. So That's what I was thinking, is that maybe there could be a compromise in between the two. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Want to give
We
one?
have some individuals online too, I don't know if
Oh,
any of
okay.
them want to speak.
If no one else
There's
here,
some people in the hallway.
does anyone in the hallway wish to make comments? No. All right. Does anyone online wish to make comments? If so, unmute your microphone. Not seeing anything. All right. If there are no more public comments, I'll close the public hearing portion of the revenue neutral rate hearing. Do we have a resolution? All right, do we have a resolution 2023-18, resolution of the County of Marion, Kansas to levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate. Getting through the whereases, it gets down to therefore, be it resolved, the governing body of Marion County shall levy a property tax rate exceeding the revenue neutral rate of 72.833 mils. I would move that resolution. Is there a second?
Second that.
Second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion. Yes.
Would either one of you two that got up and spoke, did you look back 6 or 7 years over our mill levy rate?
No, I just went back to 21 because that's the only assessed valuation data I
Okay.
have.
The last 6 or 7 years, it has not fluctuated below 75 or 4, somewhere at 73. It's stayed right in this area for the last 5, 6 years. And the main reason why that we went up 1 mil this year is to go to risk management. Yeah, risk management.
Yes.
That is the reason why, because of bridges,
Risk.
because of the building fall. You know, we don't have a whole lot of money for risk management when something happens to it.
Explain what risk management is, Randy.
Something-
Insurance or?
The what?
Is that including insurance? It's kind of like insurance, but not really.
Yeah, it's an insurance for to have some cash, and so that if I'm just trying to think of different things.
Yeah.
You want me to share a few things?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, I've been working on this budget since 1990, so a little bit of history here, but I think this year's discussion was one of the best discussions we've had. And I do a lot of these all over the state of Kansas, and what's really interesting, back to what Steve said, and I'm just gonna make some general comments and then I'll get back to your risk management question. He had stated that it was like 8.4 was the increase, you know, for that. Well, one thing that happens is if you don't stay up with certain things, it's amazing. Like, so that, I'll give you an example. Pratt City can't find a finance director, okay? So I've been filling in as their budget person, okay? Well, they increased their revenue on their electric by 21% because the electric fund was literally going bankrupt, okay? Then this year they had to do some other things because they had not addressed, like Randy said, over trying to keep the mill levy at least the same. You know, they had not adjusted that. And what I mean by that is if it's 8.4% and 21 and 22 have 8% increases in the inflation, we're sitting at 16% and not at 8.4%, and we're short by 7.6%, which ends up being about 1.5 to 1.7 million dollars just on the amount of expenditures from 22. You see what I'm saying there? Then what happens is what's happening across the state of Kansas is not only on health insurance increases, and those are fairly significant to different entities, but also property insurance. Property insurance is very difficult right now to find for governments. There's literally only one, I don't know if yours is EMC?
We're with.
State of Kansas? Yeah, okay. So some counties are with K-Camp, but some governments are with EMC. There's literally only a couple of options, and the increases on those, depending on your property, is sometimes as much as 10 to 20% just on that property insurance, and that's a big number for counties.
So you're talking about property insurance for like this
Yeah,
building?
building, equipment, you know, liability, just all those different things. So how that risk management fund actually got set up was back when we had the landfill. and the landfill was ran by Marion County. I mean, it was run by a private hauler, but Marion County was responsible, okay? And the private person ended up dying suddenly, and there was a liability there for closure. And it actually locked down the commissioners on even borrowing on their own farm, okay? Because of that liability to that. So what ended up happening here is we set up a risk management fund clear back then. And as risk management becomes a bigger and bigger issue, even in the world of auditing, which I do a lot of, risk management is something they have to do every day. They have to actually look and see where the risks are, you know, in your entity. And so there was actually, it wasn't gonna go to 1 mil above, okay? It was 75, and they had me calculate all that. And then they said, well, let's go, what would 1 mil be? 173,000. And that 1 mil was to be used and help with risk management and other things, but risk management mainly, because property insurance, health insurance, risks that we don't even know exist.
And disasters.
And disasters.
The dam at the park.
That's
What I'm gonna show, right up there, where you see dam on our whiteboard right there.
Yeah.
We started off and we thought, you know, maybe 200,000, right up there. It started out, then the bid come in at 130, and then when we got into the middle of the dam project, it went to 95,000 more on top of that 130. So that we didn't have that budgeted. And so that's where we went, and that's the Marion County Lake Dam out here is what I'm talking about. So them kind of problems pop up because of government. They required us to inspect that dam, or make sure that dam was safe and what they wanted done. So right there is over a mill, and this mill that we're talking about that we went up this year wouldn't even cover what the total is up there. So that's the kind of short things. And when he talks landowners with Marion County, we all know who Tom Gross was in Peabody, and that's who we're talking about when Tom passed away. He was in with Marion County at the landfill. The Gross whole family was.
And then the government has a 30-year responsibility to monitor all those underground gases and everything, and that's a fairly expensive process also. One of the other things I might explain, because I don't know that, I mean, I'm a CPA, I've done this 40 years, but just to know this, you know, a lot of people don't, you can't borrow on a line of credit at a government. So the only amount you can get is bridge bonds, or, you know, bonds for certain projects. You can do some lease purchases, which they've kind of elected not to here. There's sometimes they do it, and they try to pay more with cash. But no fund warrants is really the only way, and you don't want no fund warrants. And no fund warrants have to be issued by what's called the Board of Tax Appeals, and that's when you're in an emergency situation and you don't have money. So a rule of thumb I kind of set up, and I'm maybe going a little further here, but I think this is really important because I get this question on every one of these budgets. So if we take the question I think Martha asked earlier, why is it 34 million total expenditures in the 24 column, okay, of the budget? So if you look at the total expenditures of 22 million and you divide it by 12. So it's just kind of like at home, okay? So if you took the 22 expenditures and divide by 12, you'd have 1,897,000. So my dad raised me this way, but I actually applied to government now for about 20 years, and it really works well because you can't go borrow. So 3 to 6 months, my dad always told me before credit cards that you needed to make sure you had money in, you know, to buy larger purchases. So I applied that same process to governments literally all across the state of Kansas. And so 3 months would be 5.6 million, 6 months would be 11.3 million, okay? So if you take the 34 million that you see as total expenditures, the way the state of Kansas sets that up is they actually allow you to put the expenditures in plus cash that's sitting in Marion County. And that's called budget authority. So if you spent the whole 34 million, you would have no money left in Marion County, okay? But if you back that 11,387,000 off of there, you get to about 23,323,000, okay? So if you back that cash off, and we had 22,775,000 compared to 22. So it's not that much when you start looking at cash carryover. And some of those are like capital improvement that we have been setting aside for roads. And that's a large number. That's about $5 million just for roads, because I think, and I didn't get your name, what was your?
Jonathan.
Jonathan had brought up about roads. Are we taking care of roads? So all those things come into play, and it seems like a lot of cash, but it goes through pretty quickly. And then when you've got 8%, 10%, whatever that inflation rate is. So I've looked at all of those things, not to saying there's something I haven't turned over, but you have one of the best county clerks in the state of Kansas, okay?
we do.
I'm not just telling you, I'm serious, because then she went through the budget and literally made sure every number was where Marion County was at. And I don't have that in any other county or city I do. I mean, that's awesome. So I hope that helped explain a little bit. If you got any other question, I mean, I think that helps.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have one simple question.
Yeah.
So if you were to pass this and I had $100,000 house, what would that do to my taxes? How much would that raise? Just as a general,
It's a very small amount. I don't know that off the top of my head, but we could figure it out quickly. Or you could, I mean, Tina would have it on.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold you to it, just like a general,
I'm guessing it's probably 10 to 20 bucks at the most, and
Okay.
that's a
Okay.
year. I mean, it's very
Okay.
small.
right,
Because your assessed value on your $100,000 house
Mhm.
based on, see, the assessed value is 173 million, but that includes state assessed property, that includes commercial property, and that includes your house, or personal, or land, or whatever, you know, just all these different things. Yeah, oil and gas, it's just, so it's like very small
Very minimal,
compared to that.
okay.
Because yours, like house, to get your fair market value, you have to add, you take 11.5% to get your assessed value.
right,
So when you start looking at that,
Okay.
it's a very small number. I'm just guessing, but
okay,
somewhere around there.
Okay.
One more thing there.
yeah,
We look at, this is for the county side.
right,
Your city, your schools, your fire
Right.
districts, your cemetery
Yeah.
districts, and all of that comes in.
Yep.
You just heard $20 for the county side, but then
Right.
we also think about towns that raise. And so you put all 4, 5, 6, how much, we got 64 taxing districts in this county, I think. No,
Oh, don't ask
It's a
me
bunch.
that.
It's a bunch.
I
What I'm
don't
getting at
keep
is-
those in my head, because I
Yeah.
can look at it written
Right,
down somewhere.
but what I'm saying though is, we sort of look at it too, is the $20 here on our side, but then we also realize that school districts and cities and everything is going up too, so we try to stand to where everybody has an equal piece of the pie,
right,
you know.
okay.
All right, we've finished with the public comment.
Yeah, just real quickly, that's a good comment. And also, $10 this year is not too bad, but $10 this year, $20 next year, $30 next year, just all adds up. So, thank you.
Any other
But one
discussion?
thing the taxpayers do need to know, we're in the same market as an individual. We need money to buy equipment, which is just out of this world price-wise. So we're in a position now where in the past, we've been able to buy a piece of equipment on a lease purchase at 2%, 3%. Now, if we went out for it, we'd be 7 or 8%. And so we've made the commitment to try to budget a certain amount every year. So we have money that we can, if we need to, got a piece of equipment down, we have to have it right now, we pay cash for it. And that's being more transparent to the taxpayer than, oh, we can still just go borrow money, but not at that interest rate.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing, and I think this happened in Pratt, and it's really eye-opening. So what Randy said, all these different taxing entities, so someone came in and they had their notice, and they went through, and I think it was the city and the county went 6.6 was their increase, okay? 6.6, which is below inflation, okay? The school district was 30%, okay? So I think, I'm not saying anything about that, but if you actually went through, and each one of you would be different, because each one of you have a different taxing, but if you go with those percentages, and I've not done it on Marion County, but that was very eye-opening for me in Pratt, to see that, see how you do that, and see which one really is the one that, so they sent the person to the school district to go deal with that.
I hope they
Passing the buck.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion or questions from the commission?
Just a
clarification on that. We talked about the capital improvement, the bonding at $5 million. $5 million only covered Indigo Road and 2 miles of Kansas.
That was it.
That's all it covered. And we have, I mean, I'm in favor of keeping the mill levy the same. I voted that way, but just for clarification, that's how far your money goes. It doesn't go very far.
Doesn't go very far.
It doesn't go very far at all. I mean, that's 13 miles, not even 13, 12, because that's our part. Harvey County has the last mile, and then we have 2 miles here, so 14 miles cover $5 million.
And in our defense, to make that investment, those are the highest traveled roads in the county.
Yeah.
So we made a long-term investment in those roads, so that in the future, we can get out to the rest of the people.
But in order to tackle everything that we need to do in this county,
Yeah, very good call.
it's.
And do you
it's
also utilize
phenomenal.
grants with that too?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion from the commission? If not, I'll call the question. We go by roll call. Resolution 2023-18. David Mueller, I vote in favor. Aye. Kent Becker.
Aye.
Randy Dalkey.
Aye.
Dave Crofit.
Aye.
And Jonah Gary.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution passes. Use my initials. Does that throw it out? If I use my initials? Sure.
I'm not a attorney.
It's validated.
I got it. I'll be fine.
This one.
While the commissioners are signing, I want to thank you for your comments. We'll now move into the budget hearing, and you'll have a chance to make more comments. We'll go through it again.
Just to be-
But hopefully it'd be new comments we've already heard.
Just to be clear, that resolution just said we were exceeding.
Correct.
Right. Okay, resolution is signed and passed. I close the revenue neutral rate hearing and call the budget hearing to order. Again, we have all commissioners present, and we begin with public comments. So are there any additional or new comments that would like to be made on the budget? I'll ask one, I think we might have one or two new online. Anyone online wish to make public comments? If so, unmute your microphone. Okay, no public comments online, none in the room. Close the public comments. Commission has seen the budget, reviewed the budget. Is there a motion to approve the budget? If so, I will make the motion to approve the budget as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay.
Okay.
Okay, motion carried 4-1. Commissioner Garing opposed.
I know you probably don't have to do this, but would you mind just doing the budget as a roll call as well?
Okay, will do. I don't have my, okay, I'll just go this way. David Mueller, aye. Commissioner Crowfoot,
Aye.
Commissioner Dalkey.
Aye.
I skipped Commissioner Becker, sorry.
Aye.
And Commissioner Garing.
Nay.
Okay. Same result, so that's good.
Thank you.
Again, very good discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate the interest, but please know that we have put in a great deal of time, a great deal of discussion. We appreciate the guidance from Scott Lloyd, and as always, Tina, absolutely incredibly important in this
Got
process.
two great people right there.
Yes, yes.
Helping us.
Yes.
Thank you.
A lot of history. Not saying that you're old.
I'm getting there.
And do I sign?
It's just right there. What this is saying that you accept what we helped put together.
A little late.
We just, we'd like to put in the file.
Yeah, I understand.
did show up in a tie this time.
What's your next stop?
So. Jackson County.
Today?
Huh?
Today?
Yeah. Holden.
It's not till 6.
Not till 6 either, so I won't get home till.
Yeah, but still, man.
It's all good. No, it's all good.
You can stay for a while and watch the fun.
Yeah.
You probably had time to set the casino and win some money, huh?
No. I'm not one of those. I don't do those. I don't think just
They don't keep the lights on if they give away money.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the opportunity
Thank you.
to help. And, there was some great, everybody had some great questions.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
We need something, Paul.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
See you.
So you'll want to close the budget hearing and
Yes.
open the regular meeting?
Thank you. Okay, we've got the budget signed and returned, right?
Yes.
Okay. I hereby close the budget hearing. And we move into the regular Marion County Commission meeting. We start with public forum. Anyone want to make public comments again before we start our agenda? Anyone online wish to make public comments? Okay, seeing no public comments, we'll move into agenda approval. Since we're running behind, we're going to let's move administrative to the end except for one item. Councilor Brad Jantz is not here, so that will not be on the agenda. Any other additions or changes to the agenda?
I have one, but it'll be, I can do it under commission comment.
Okay, very good, that'll work. Then we will stand with the agenda approved. So before we get,
How about a executive session for personnel performance
at the end?
at the end?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we've got that added to the agenda.
Okay.
Any other additions or changes? If not, the agenda is approved. I'm going to ask Marcy to come in. Marcy?
You all right?
My camera's red light, is it still on? Everybody goes-
Yes.
Yes, it's on.
Marcy, I hear you have some good news for us. What training or meeting did you go to? last week?
I went to the Kansas Emergency Management Association conference last week. It is a conference of all of the emergency managers in the state of Kansas. It also includes the Kansas Division of Emergency Management, which is a state agency. And then also the partners that we work with in emergency management, like Red Cross and the United Methodist Disaster Services and things like that.
I heard there was also an awards ceremony.
There was.
I'm going to make you stand.
Can you stand up and tell me?
Oh, no. Butler County Emergency Management contacted several people in the county. And I was nominated for Emergency Manager of the Year, or EM Professional of the Year for the Kansas Emergency Management Association, and I won. So it was thanks to it was very surprising, but I think it's a tribute to the fact of everything that we're all doing in the county. I mean, I think it shows that what we're doing is heading in the right direction. We're trying to stay on top of what type of risks and disasters and how can we best protect our citizens and our community, and it shows the teamwork with all of us for this. So I think it's a very nice award for the county.
That's the first thing Marcy would do, is share the credit. Is share the credit. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention was Marcy's been a true blessing to Marion County. The words I think about are passionate, organized, collaborator, energetic, and prepared. And there's no way to put this into words until you experience the Marcy effect. And it has made Marion County better. So thank you.
Now let's talk about the real Marcy now.
Okay.
The real Marcy, we had a heck of a time convincing her that she was the person for this job. We knew you was the person for the job, but we heard a lot of no's for a lot of years. Well, a year, maybe a year and a half or so. But thank you for finally stepping up and taking it, because your work speaks for itself. The people that you work with reports on you, and that's why we knew you was the person for the job, but we just had to convince you. So, thank you for taking it.
Well, and thank you for the support from the commission and everything that we do, because sometimes I come to you with little weird ideas, and you're willing to sit and listen and say, okay, well, you can try this as long as it doesn't cost any money, so.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
So, I do appreciate the support. It is, I mean, this is a great award for us, so. And we're small compared to, this is everybody in the state. This is all the counties, so. And the other thing that's great is I have never had another county say no. When I ask for help, advice, direction, this is a wonderful group of people that all work together, and, you know, they hear Marion County, sure, what do you need? So I think that speaks to how good we
And
really are.
that speaks to, I'm sure, when they ask you for help, you always say yes.
Yes, I try never to say no.
On top of being an excellent EMS director, I have to say she's an excellent educator.
Yeah.
She's willing to take out of her time to go talk to groups, same way that Tina is, and put on some very educational things for county folks. And I didn't even mind listening to you for an hour and a half.
It was supposed to be 40 minutes, and I apologize. I get a little bit excited over weird financial preparedness stuff and things, so.
Very good. Well, Marcy, we appreciate it, and I don't know what you're gonna do to top it next year, but yeah, the bar is now set.
National next year.
We'll find out.
We'll find out, but again, thank you for all you do for Marion County.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
John Deerdorf is next.
Yes, he would, that's gonna be a telephone call. I
Okay.
give you a paper with a number to call. I didn't know if you want, how we want to do that.
I'm gonna let you, or,
Okay.
so, sorry, Steve, we're running.
Well, that's all right.
running behind.
Okay.
It's a nice day to be outside.
Yes.
Not sure. This is a new phone for me, so I don't really know. I'll figure out, I guess, how to put it on speaker and all of that.
I guess good, let Jim do it. I wouldn't.
We have a person with a jacket sitting in the crowd that says Marion on it. Would you mind saying your name and who you are?
My name's Brogan Jones.
We are just getting to the
I'm
point
the city
where we're
administrator
to
for the city
have
of
this
Marion.
discussion.
Glad to
so
meet you,
I'm
bro.
gonna
Nice to meet you, thank you.
on the speakerphone here with the commission. Okay, just a moment.
Keeps
Just-
low profile.
Yeah, I didn't know him.
Okay.
I wanted to find out who he was.
I met him the other day when I went, got permits.
Yep. Now you're buddies.
Okay.
No, I just gave him some money
Can you hear
left.
us, John?
I can hear you now.
All right, very good. John, this is David Mueller, and you're on speakerphone in the Marion County Commission meeting, open session. So we're ready for your report.
All right, well, it's good to hear from you guys. We're getting down to the start of our posting, hopefully, anyway. But so hopefully you've all had a chance to look at the profile draft, job posting draft. And I got to say, Tina and her staff have been very helpful on that, and I really appreciate her and them wanting for it to be right. So they helped the league a lot in kind of getting that all put together. So appreciate that effort. So I just kind of want to start there. Are we good with the profile, and then we'll talk a little bit about the job posting and talk about posting periods, and then I want to talk a little bit about posting locations. So
Okay, let's start with the profile. Commissioners, you've had a chance to review. Any comments or suggestions for change?
Looked like the notes were taken and applied, so.
Good to me.
I'm seeing 5 thumbs up.
okay, good. Again, appreciate Tina for her efforts on that. So in the job posting, basically it's a shorter version, obviously, of the profile, but in the posting we'll have a link to this community profile, so candidates will look at the posting and be able to click on this link to see the profile that provides a lot more detail. I think on the posting, what we need to talk about is when we want to how long we want to take applications. And typically, you know, I would say minimum 4 weeks. You know, 5 weeks is about right. 6 weeks probably gets a little bit long. And a lot of that depends on if we go ahead, if we get approval today, we can start posting, you know, yet this week. So what's your thoughts on the submission deadline, how far you want to go out?
End of October, maybe?
I think we ought to at least
6
have,
weeks.
I think we ought to at least have 6 weeks.
Okay. Commissioner Dalkey?
Yeah, 5, 6.
Okay, consensus is 5 to 6 weeks, so the end of October.
End of October, okay. I'll do that. 5 to 6 weeks, end of October. I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but I'll figure that out. Okay, so the other thing real quick, and I don't know, I've got a copy, I don't know if you've seen a copy of the kind of the recommended posting placements we had.
Yes. Yeah. We have it in front of us.
Okay, good. And, you know, I guess my question there is there anything below the line down there, or maybe other locations you all have in your mind you'd like to see us posted? Just kind of go from the ones up top or the ones we normally do. I've done some for other cities. I go to like the Missouri League of Cities, and Oklahoma League of Cities, and not sure we get a lot of traction there because, you know, the ones you've got there, ICMA, that's, you know, people are going to see that all over the country. Kansas Municipal Utilities is mainly in Kansas, and of course the league as well. We've also got the Kansas Association of Counties on there, City Code Financial, and then KU, the Kansas University of Green Grass. That's really kind of a publication that goes out to all the KU and MPA students, alumni, what have you. So, and, you know, I don't know if you guys have some requirements there you want to post it, you know, on your website or locally. You just need to tell me that. So.
I'm gonna guess our website, a definite
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Does Wichita State offer anything?
You know, they used to, we had a job board. I was a graduate from there years ago, the MPA program, but they've since moved that program out from kind of where it was standalone, mixed in with another part of the university. So there's really not a job board specifically for public administrators. But I will check on that again, because I know lately it has not been there. So,
Well, if you could check on that, I think if there's an opportunity, let's not pass it up.
Yeah.
I will definitely do that.
I think I have a contact at the Hugo Wall school there at WSU that I might be able to put you in touch with, if that helps.
Okay. Yeah, and I know some people at Hugo Wall too. So
Okay.
we'll see if they have a job board still, or if that's kind of went by the wayside. It definitely would be a good place if they do have one. So, and the rest of those I think will be pretty solid. We'll get some good traction there, and of course then you'll just, you know, word of mouth. We'll get out there, and of course I'll be making a few contacts here and there. And you know, if any of the commissioners or you have anybody that's talked to you or is interested, feel free to give them my phone number to talk about the position, or, you know, point them to where they need to go to, you know, to apply. So.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
We've got the profile, we've got the description, we've got the advertising, publication. What else do we need to do?
That's all I need today from you guys, just approval to posting and the sites. We've done that, and I'll get busy with Nikki next couple days, and we'll start getting it posted. And as we go forward, I'll hopefully provide you every Monday. Is that right?
That's correct.
I'll send I guess to Tina or whoever you want me to.
Yes.
Kind of a weekly update. Just, hey, you know, I won't go into names and all that, but hey, we had 5 applications this week, or we've got 10 so far, just so you get an idea kind of how things are tracking. So,
Excellent. Send that to Tina.
I'll do that. So, and that's really, Mr. Jarrett, that's really all I need today. I appreciate you guys being on top of this, and again, thanks to Tina for helping coordinate all of this for us.
Do we need a formal action on the approval?
Well, it would probably be good for you to approve the recommended advertising or to clarify what you're doing, because he also had some optional ones, and so, it's the intent or consensus or action, whatever you wanna do, of the board to do just the ones at the top, the recommended, plus the county
Okay,
website.
good point. Commission thoughts on doing the recommended ones? I'm guessing everybody's on board with the recommended. How about the optional? Commission on board with the optional ones, or do you want to pick and choose a couple out?
I mean, I could see where Missouri would play in,
Okay.
but
Why did you include Texas?
You know, I never have used them. I know the leagues used Texas before, and on some churches they were doing before I joined forces with them. I've never really used Texas, although Texas is a really, really strong, city manager city manager state. So there's a lot of cities now that are city managers. So, so yeah, that's up to you. But
It's not very far
I don't know
away
that that's
either.
necessary.
It's close.
well, Oklahoma's not listed, so it just jumped straight to Texas.
Yeah, I think because Oklahoma's pretty weak in terms of city manager form of governments. There's just not a lot there as compared to Texas. That's probably why the leagues use them in the past. But so
Think
either way,
out of Texas, we'd get better candidates because of our 2 lakes.
Texas is pretty fertile in terms of candidates. And you got 2 lakes, yeah. So who knows? If you want to add them, we certainly can.
Consensus of anybody here want me to do it? I mean, or do you want to go with the suggested?
Man,
I'd
what
like
we're
to
looking
stick
at.
with, I'd like to stick with the suggested. If 30 days down the road, we're not getting a lot, we could add 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can add to the Corson County website, and then WSU will look into that.
Yes.
And the top, and then we see how things go. You're right, we could always plug it in, some other places if we're not happy with where we're at.
Okay, so I'm hearing go with the recommended.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
I'd make that motion to go with the $895.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Dalkey to go with the recommended advertising. Second from Commissioner Becker, and include researching Wichita State as a possible addition. And if necessary, later look at the optional ones. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We're going with the recommended placements with the investigation into Wichita State.
Very good, okay. Well, that's good. I think that's all I have for today, unless you all have any questions.
Well, we're on board.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
You bet. You guys have a great rest of your meeting.
Will do.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Tina.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Steve. Only 10 minutes late.
Is there a problem? I'd like to go in executive session, discuss personnel and director position for a half an hour, please.
Okay, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss job performance of specific employee pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, not elected personnel performance. With the board, Tina and Steve, for 30 minutes from 1:25 to 1:50.
55.
55, yes. Thank you very much. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 1:55 in this room following closed session.
Okay, let's see if that camera goes shuts off or not. Just a moment.
camera's still on.
I know, I'm trying, that's what I'm just saying, I'm trying to see if I can shut it off from here. Still on?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, still on?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the camera's on.
You going for 10 more minutes?
Yeah, we'll bring Darren in.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Bring Darren in, is in I got another session
Okay.
afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Then we're
No,
going
come on in.
executive.
I'm
Camera's
wrong.
on.
This conference will now
Changed
be
since I walked
recorded.
out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Darren would be first.
Welcome.
Hey.
Don't forget. No.
Are we out? Are we in?
Oh, yeah,
We are in?
okay,
Yeah, camera's live.
everything's
I didn't
on.
hear the lady.
We're on.
Okay, this is wrong. Out of executive session, no decisions made. So Darren, you're up. If you'd like to come up to the microphone.
No.
Yeah, let's just make sure he is.
Please come up to the microphone. Is that better? So-
Okay, I'm up for what?
Negotiations as far as, what was it?
Well, would it be possible first, they would give an update on Kansas?
Yes, okay, Kansas.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, that's what I mean, you just tell me which topic I need to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about first. Kansas, they're currently striping.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
before I came in here, right before I came in here, I was out there and they're still cleaning, but they will get striped yet this afternoon. So the stripe trucks,
Perfect, yeah.
they're water blasting the center line to get the cure off of it, paint. So by the end of today, I don't know what that means exactly, sometime before midnight tonight, before it gets dark, it will be painted.
Kansas. What? Kansas is supposed to have that epoxy?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought-
why they gotta clean it. They're using a water blaster to,
Okay.
it's a circular water blaster truck and they're
Okay.
blasting the cure off of it so the paint will stick better.
So does it have to come back and be resealed?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that's a one-time paint and that paint will last a long time barring removal by some type of vehicle. I mean, it's not a paint that's gonna fade away in a couple of years, so.
Yeah, concrete, it won't be chip sealed, so that's good.
Right, you don't have to worry about covering it.
Okay. Very good.
Any update on 290th?
Thank you.
290th, our surveyors were out there last week, and got everything surveyed we needed to, with the exception of, and this is not just here, but it's everywhere in the state right now, we're having trouble with utility locates. Companies are just as lacking in employees as most every other company is, and so not all utilities got located, and some of the utilities, one of the phones that was being located when our guys were out there, our guys turned around and said, hey, fine, we don't care about the ones that run parallel, as long as they're out past the ditch line, just give us ones that cross the road, so when we go to do the cement treated base, we don't rip into them.
I noticed one time they flagged all.
Yeah, and that's, we said too, said if they're out near the edge of the right of way, we're not gonna get into them,
Right.
so we'll give you that latitude of not marking those except for where they turn
Yes.
and come across the roads. So we saved a couple of the phone markings by doing that, but I still don't think 100% got marked before we were there, because I know there's some things from past that I don't think got picked up, but at least we'll go with what we've got.
Mhm.
And when the locates get called back in during construction and the contractor calls them in and something gets marked that wasn't on our plan survey, well, the utility company will be responsible for it at the time. We just can't pre-warn them, so. So I'm hoping to have those plans ready to go by the end of October, but I can't guarantee that, but that's still my goal is to have them.
Did we hear back about the extension?
No.
Okay.
But, so you're saying just, did they give you that hard deadline? Did the state give you that hard deadline of October 29th?
It's in the contract.
Okay, it's in the agreement you guys have with the state?
Right.
We did request the 60-day extension.
I
to
saw
the end
that,
of
I saw
December.
copies of that.
Okay.
But they
We
have to
haven't-
approve the
Yeah.
extension.
Right.
Okay.
I have not known KDOT on cost shares not to
Okay.
complete it.
I have no idea.
No, cost shares are a little bit different animal. It doesn't have any federal money in it, so they're not tied to federal rules.
Okay, a little more
Like-
flexibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your HRRRs and your, some of the C-clip type money, you know,
Those
some of
are-
those other, and some of the bridge money, it has, when it's got federal money, that's
Yeah.
not just them making that decision,
Okay.
so cost shares all state money.
Question? No? Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just,
Sorry, I'm just trying to read through.
I guess I can take over from that though, because I was the one that requested him that he came in.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I don't want to take any more of your time because I already got an answer. But the reason I had you come in is because you realize we do not have an administrative person right now. We've got Steve out in the field and he's buried, and that's where he needs to be. We were trying to think outside the box. Okay, would your firm ever be interested in helping us out administratively until we filled a position? But from what I understand, one of the other commissioners, we can't afford you. So I'm not gonna ask, I'm not gonna ask any more. The only question I would have though is if we do hire someone, whether your firm could help with some training when it came to grant preparation, that type of thing.
So, to start out, just give you kind of the quickie background. Yes, we have on-call engineering agreements with, right now, no other counties, but multiple cities. It's a standard one that the hourly rates are no different than the rates that you see in your other contracts we signed with you. Dealing with the county and all the different programs you guys deal with, though, are a lot more than the majority of the cities we deal with, just because you've got so many different funding pots and stuff to keep track of and on top of. So to do justice to an on-call engineering, I would say you're likely needing somebody to have their hands involved maybe as much as 20 to 24 hours a week, just to handle this side of it, let alone the road and bridge side.
And that's good. That's what we need to know, because you have expertise when it comes to that.
Well, I mean,
And
if
so
you
that's
look,
what
if you look at Bryce's 40 hours a week, let's just call it 40 hours a week. I would say that it was probably roughly needed to be half and half. So I'd say about 20 hours a week needs to be dedicated just to the administrative side of all of those potential funding avenues you guys have, right? Overseeing the
That's
project
helpful.
side. So if you take, when you look at the dollar amount of what my cost for a technician in our firm is for 20 hours a week, there's gonna be your answer.
So if we would hire a individual to work X number of hours, 24, 30, whatever that is, and we needed to get some grant writing training.
Yeah.
Is that something you do, or
Oh,
do
yeah.
we
No,
need
we
to go
can.
outside the county?
No, we can help out with that, because most of the grants, there's only a couple of the grants that Bryce would have done for the county side that we don't deal with on a very routine basis. We don't, we got kind of out of the bridge game probably about 15 years ago, because nobody wanted to pay our prices for us to come out and do bridge inspections, because when it really changed, if you remember, after the Minnesota fiascos, we took that to heart and said, hey, we're not gonna send a technician out to look at bridges that are on a, say, orange or red list. That's gonna be the engineer. Well, as soon as we start sending the engineers out in the field, we were having to charge $150 to $200 per bridge, and this was 10 to 12 years ago. And everybody else was still charging $65 to $75 a bridge at that time. So we lost all of our county bridge work. So in retrospect, then we kind of got out of the bridge market for doing projects on bridges. So that funding stream that you guys have and deal with, that we're not super familiar with anymore. We still do a couple where there's a city that has a bridge, but not on the design side, not on the inspection side.
So if we would utilize your firm to do some training for us.
Yes,
Could
and I
we
would-
get that done on,
yes.
we could, that,
On an as
what's
needed
most
basis.
cost effective?
Well,
A contract with you
No,
per hour?
just as needed with a, hey, I could say, hey, I won't charge you any more than this. Because most of the time, it's not gonna be that somebody would come in and, okay, so if you go find a firm that does this, number one, I don't think you're gonna find prices a whole lot different. I mean, we're all pretty much in the same game. Because so much of our costs are now controlled by audits from KDOT and those type of things, that it's not like we can sit here and charge a 400% overhead rate. We're kind of locked into what KDOT audits is at, and everybody gets the same restrictions put on them. So most of the time, if you find an individual that's not familiar with these, it's more, okay, it'd probably be a little bit of like an hour here or an hour and a half here, and then let them kind of muddle around for a little bit and then come back in another hour here type thing. So it's not like it'd be an 8-hour training
Yeah,
session.
I think that's, I think from the commission's point of view, tell me if I'm wrong, that's the kind of expertise we would ask for you.
And I also would have no problem, let's just say, Steve, whoever, calls up and says, hey, we're starting to see this happen down on 90th, Jade, or wherever, give a location, say, hey, we're starting to see this happen, or we had this happen on a low water crossing. We can go out, I can go out and take a look and still be on that kind of as needed basis. And a lot of times, if I'm on my way kind of somewhere anywhere, I don't try to travel time or somewhere else. I mean, I've got enough directions.
So we
I
call
already
you and
had.
say, the next time you take
Well,
your wife
exactly.
out for
Well,
something.
exactly. The next time I'm headed to Peabody to check in on one of those projects, I swing by wherever, and then you basically get charged the 15 or 20 minutes I'm probably out there on site. And I just kind of keep track of those off the side, and when I got to a point where I had a couple hours in it, then I, look at sending a bill.
I think that's what we needed to know going forward.
Good question.
So, that's, not that I don't think you don't need some kind of full-time person. I do, it's just, I know it's gonna get tougher in the county world to find licensed engineers. It's just,
Yeah.
there's not that many
At
counties.
this point, we don't know if we need one.
There's not that many counties out there that still have them, and most of the time the counties that do are those that are in the 500,000 plus populations. So, now, if we were staffed up and I had extra staff on board and I could send technicians out to do a lot of the stuff, then it makes it a lot more cost effective. But right now, I'm in that same ballgame that everybody else is, and
Finding out.
yeah.
That's very helpful. Yeah, appreciate that.
And
I think that's the information.
I'm more than willing to help out the county however we can. Don't get me wrong. We live here. I'm not gonna do anything different I wanna keep this county going as strong as anybody else, so if I can help, I will.
Appreciate that.
So.
All right. I think that answered a lot of our questions.
And then on the side, if you guys keep raising my taxes, I just keep raising my prices.
You missed that hearing. It's circular, right?
It is, it's circular.
It is very much circular. If Washington DC keeps dumping money,
Exactly.
it's gonna round and round and round, and everything's gonna go up.
Okay. I'm sorry, I say that same thing to the cities I go visit, so you're not exclusive there.
Did you have anything else on that? Steve, did you have anything else?
And always feel free, if you see a problem that you want some advice on, or that a direction we need to start looking for something, just get a hold of me.
Will do.
I mean, I've got no problem running out looking at stuff, as long as I'm here.
Thank you. Yeah.
So.
Can't find words. Very good. I think that helped us a lot.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming in and putting all your done.
All right.
We'll see you.
Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll shoot something back to somebody here, and the cans will be done, and we can close that one completely out. There'll be a final pay estimate that just has the striping left on it, and that'll be it, so.
There was a grant approval for a couple bridges. Did we need to do anything on that?
We got the ball rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
just checking.
The cost share will get turned in this week.
Okay.
That application deadline's by the end of the day on the 21st. I'm trying to get them all in tomorrow on Wednesday, so. So you'll get notice, because I'm using your email address on that one
Okay.
too, as that backup, so you'll get notice when it's filed
Okay,
from
great.
back from KDOT.
Very good. All right, thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Steve, you're back up.
Back to the hot seat.
Give you a little chance to cool off.
Okay. Talk about department business.
Yes.
In your guys' packets, you should have received, or on your computer there, you should have received something from the Cottonwood Crossing chapter, Santa Fe Trail. I have a group of individuals that are, have approached me and asked me if the county would be willing to help build this facility and build this site. It'd be very similar to what the Lost Springs Santa Fe Trail site is, just west of Santa Fe off of 340th. And in fact, that's what they use as far as the design goes. I did put some numbers together as far as material cost goes, and it's going to be approximately $4,087 to do this. That includes 2 different types of rock, and then also the weed barrier, which they want to put down. The weed barrier cost would kind of fluctuate up or down depending on if I can get a bulk buy at a cheaper price. So anyway, I just need your guys' approval to possibly proceed with this if the county would like to pay for this project.
Doug Sharp contacted me about this probably been 30 days ago. Scully Estates donated the land, put that on, and it kind of falls in line with the other kiosks that are around the county. And by putting that in, we've got a straight shot of kiosks through the county. When you look at Lost Springs, this area, Durham, Lehigh, Steve Schmidt that was in here, he's part of that group, and he has a kiosk out there on his property, and then there's markings over on 56 west of Lehigh. So
Since this is tourism related, you could potentially make these transient guest.
Oh,
That's
forgot about that.
That's
That's
fine.
50,000-60,000. Yeah. And
so that's when I directed him to Steve.
I think we could have a source for your fabric, that you wouldn't have to, the county wouldn't have to buy the fabric.
Yeah, I'd have to go to, there's like 3 different companies I've looked at. White Cloud's one of them. There's a couple other ones too. So yeah, I'd have to look at that. We've used that type of material before, actually on blacktop roads for patchwork, so we might even be able to use that as well.
Okay. Any other questions, or would there be a motion to?
And we're talking about economic development.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's certainly,
I'll make a
it
motion.
would be tourism. I don't know, can we fund that out of the
Transient guest
tax? Okay.
I'll make a motion to allow Steve not to exceed on the Cottonwood Crossing chapter, kiosk turnaround, $4,200 out of transient guest tax.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion from Commissioner Garing, a second from Commissioner Crowfoot. Further discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Becker. Sorry.
He made
Sorry, Commissioner Becker seconded. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, the next thing on the Department of Business, I have an individual who would like to have a dirt road rocked the entire mile. Usually on something like that, we put 400 tons of material on the road. And I told this group of people that it would be their expense to get this done if the approval of the board. And so I got 400 tons times 2-inch clean. It'd be a base rock to be established first at $11.28 a ton. The total cost for that group of people would be $4,512. So I guess I'm just asking for permission to charge a person, then also rock a dirt road.
The follow-up is the maintenance then would fall on us.
It'd fall on us.
County gets it from them.
Do they pay for the trucking also?
I gave him that price at our hauling. You know, I told him it'd be a lot more if someone else hauled it, so this would have to be something that we could do when we don't have anything else that's a higher priority. So,
Is there a planned building on it at any time, or?
there is some oil batteries on this road, and I think it's just more of an easier access for these people.
Where's this at?
It'd be on the upland between 360th and 370th. It'd be from gravel road to gravel road.
Yeah, so I got a few other locations.
So,
Yeah.
so how many
No, no,
people?
I've been working at this for forever, figuring out what roads get rocked.
Well, yeah,
I've
but
been going back and forth on this, and who pays taxes, and who uses the roads more than.
So it's $5,000 a mile.
so it's only a trucking company comes out and uses it to haul oil off, and they tear it up in the wet season, we can go out and fix it.
Pumper uses it
At
every
our
day.
cost.
At
Every
our
day.
cost.
Pumper uses it every day,
Well, and
every day. It gets
I don't
visited
think-
more often than, I can guarantee, an oil lease will get visited more often than a house. Because sometimes people leave on Sundays.
And here's your equipment.
You got 1,000 leases out here, you gonna go do it for 1,000 people?
Right.
I'm not going to. I mean, that's why I was asking who the people are, what's being used.
We do that for that type of business. That type of business is all over the county. What kind of can of worms are we talking about adding as far as maintenance? I know it's rocking, it's not that to me, but then you got maintenance like from then on. I mean, everybody that owns an oil lease would like to have a rock road. I guarantee you.
There's a cutoff. I mean, a lot of counties that I've heard, I haven't validated it for myself, but it's like a 5-barrel well. If it makes 5 barrels or above.
Okay,
it's
I
gravel.
don't want to get you in the wrong direction. There is oil batteries on this place, but the people that are interested in this really are not involved with the oil business.
That's why I was asking, who's doing it? That's what.
I didn't know if I could say the name in open public or not, so.
Well, I guess what my concern is what we're doing with it, because there's roads, one that just got brought up last night, matter of fact, is a road that's very heavily used. Nobody lives on it, but it's very heavily used, and it saves people from going across the highway, so they go around, go under the highway. So what's the difference here? I mean, we're gonna go rock a road for something out here, and then not rock this other road that's used more and create safety. It really needs to be a pattern, and I know the traffic on that road, so.
That's a really hard question for a commissioner to answer, because I've had that asked.
Yeah.
Why is that road rocked?
Yes, yes.
When nobody lives there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if somebody did years ago or whatever,
Right.
and I can't get it rocked.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just a hard sell.
That's very tough.
And I would say, if we do that, then I've got 3 half-mile stretches that I'm gonna be in tomorrow, but I'd gladly pay the money to do it, just for convenience.
I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, and I don't know what they're wanting it for. I mean, I gotta know that.
I'd say convenience.
Let me ask you this,
I'd say
if a
convenience,
person
yes.
or persons like that wanted to have their road rocked and we don't do it, they go ahead and hire it done, does that maintenance still fall on us?
I'm aware of several places in the county that people have rocked their own roads, and they continue to rock their own roads.
And they tell us to stay away from it.
Yeah, some of them do, yeah. Don't maintain it, leave it alone.
You know, I'm just wondering, you know,
Is this
if they're willing to spend that much money.
But you can't really keep people off of it. because it's a right of way, it's for
Well,
people.
I mean, I just think you should go back and see what your most recent policy is on
Can
this.
we
because-
table it for a week?
Yeah, that's
It's not
fine, guys, I'm just
time,
bringing it to your attention now.
Because it is one we've actually had on the board
There's
for.
been enough discussions about it that I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's
what
one
your
of those
actual
long,
policy.
old-term issues.
Okay, well, that's
Right.
fine.
Let us tell them the commission needs some time to
Sure.
investigate, not telling them no.
Okay.
But we need to look back at some history of what we've done in the past and give it some more thought.
Okay.
But we appreciate him bringing it
All right.
to us, bringing that discussion back to the forefront.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to bring our shop supervisor up to the table. He's
Okay.
got a discussion with you guys about a potential purchase.
Okay?
That would be very beneficial for the guys in the shop.
All right.
Beneficial
You need
purchase.
to do
I want one at my house.
handyman job?
The city of Wichita's bus barn is selling through Purple Wave a truck lift.
Lumberjacks.
Ah,
Well, it's
yes.
not bumper
Now,
checks.
before.
They're 15,000 pedals.
Wow, they're not cheap, are they?
But anyway, it does have one issue. One of the control cables needs replaced. It's $1,045, I think is what the company told me. A new outfit like this is anywhere from $45,000 to $50,000 new. The bus barn guy said this one's like 8 or 9 years old. They've used it up until they got this wireless. So, the last I looked before it came up, it was like a $5,600. I just thought, well, if we wanted to, throw a low ball buck at it, just for
What's the lift capacity of that?
each pedestal 15,000. Sometimes 40 or 60,000 pounds.
So that'd accommodate about anything.
Well, it would be for our trucks.
So it's a pair, right?
There's
Two
4
pair.
pedestals.
Oh, this is a four-post lift. what you're-
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Individual posts. There's 2 of them in the middle. You can't see them in the picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Both of them.
A total of
Okay.
4.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And they're
So-
portable?
yeah.
Okay.
Which would make, easier, set them off to the side out of the way, rather than a pedestal that's permanent.
Right. Good point.
Which wouldn't vacate one bay permanently just for that. But it's just something I seen, we found. I just thought, well.
I think you get a lot more productivity, too, with people in the shop, just the fact that they're not going on their backs, crawling underneath on a
This
crawler.
fit is good.
Yeah.
I hit that a lot.
They're gonna be, it's gonna be easier on our health too.
Right.
climbing up
It's safety,
Yeah.
updated safety.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
it's something to consider, I
It
mean.
all comes back.
But anyway, it's used,
Yep.
it works, it's got some, they've had to replace one cable before, and now this would be the second one, he says, all they've ever done.
What would be your recommendation?
10, 12,000, I don't know.
So all the locks.
When's the
you know
auction
of,
over with?
Tomorrow, about quarter after 12.
Okay.
Safety locks that you know
Yeah,
of?
it's been inspected.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how recent, but there is an inspection like in 22 he had done on it.
15,000 is a third of new cost.
That'd be a steal on that.
So, it's just something,
Are they rebuildable if something goes
the
bad?
company guy I talked to said parts are available.
Okay.
They're, fixable yet. There's no.
If the parts aren't available, I wouldn't buy
Right,
them.
right, yeah, but
if you
what he
think they
told
are
me
not-
is basically, this company joined with another one and that, but it's a screw type.
Mhm.
It's not hydraulic, it's a screw,
Oh, okay.
screw lift.
Do
But it takes a lot for it to fall.
do we go into executive session to allow this? I mean, if somebody's watching.
Oh.
If somebody's watching, they know what we're gonna bid, so.
It's a contract negotiation.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Or it's
In the
a
past,
property
you just
acquisition.
authorized a
Not
certain
to
amount not
exceed.
to exceed. You don't
I
say
mean,
a
you need
specific.
to keep in mind, there's a 10% buyer's fee on.
Oh, this is a Purple Wave?
With Purple Wave.
That's what we done before, we just
Yeah.
set a limit.
It was just something we seen, and I thought, well, if we can get into it
Yeah, start looking at big iron.
fairly cheap.
Under this type deal, then can we just authorize Steve and him and Tom, Steve and Tom to make a decision?
Not to exceed.
But we still need to set a number.
reasonable number.
Yes.
15,000?
I'm not saying nothing, I'm just saying.
Well, we've purchased,
Less
I
than a
think
third,
our,
or at least a third.
well, yeah, our, that dump truck we purchased, you guys set an amount.
Yeah. We did that.
And we don't know if it hurt us or not.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, let's hold the tape. So
I
that
think anytime we can enhance
You said it'll be
safety
over.
and
Yeah.
maintenance.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow till,
Yeah.
till
It's a pretty
15.
good
Unless they're on right now.
Yeah. What number do you think? Andy?
I don't know, I just threw
I
out 15. That's
I
a,
think,
be a third.
You know,
That's a steal.
including the 12%, 10%, which would be like a 13.5 plus 10% be 14.
15.
Just a shade under.
16.
I mean, it's up to you.
10%.
I guess it goes higher than that, then we know it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's about all you can do is take a shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Make a motion.
these don't come up very often, and it's just
Yeah.
something where it's like, hey.
Shop.
Make a
We need to
motion,
make,
Okay.
make a motion to go allow, bid up to 15,000 plus their 10% on top of that, of, what do you call it?
plus 10%.
10% buyer's premium.
So it's
Buyer's
16,
premium.
16.5.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Becker, you got it right this time. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Go get them.
Thank you very much.
And good luck.
Yeah.
And if it's that important, Tom, and
Well-
it needs to be budgeted, maybe, if you don't get it, maybe
Right.
it needs to be budgeted
Yeah.
for next year, so.
Put it in that new shell.
All right, coming.
Okay, I just got a couple of follow-up items. Closings, they are starting on Indigo between 1/20th and 1/30th. They started closing today, and it's gonna be closed for 3 weeks. The reason why they held up, they were scheduled to start last week, but because of the Arts and Crafts Fair for Hillsborough, they delayed it 1 week.
Good political move.
Here's another one. Nighthawk, north and south of 190th. With the bid letting was last Tuesday, and they pushed that back for, it was scheduled to start this week, but because of the Old Settlers Day, they're pushing it back until 10/3, and that's gonna last for 30 days. It's my understanding that the 190th will be open, but it will be closed on each side. Nighthawk will be closed on each side of 190th. They are setting up road closed ahead signs coming off of Highway 50, so it gives people plenty of notice that they need to go up to Sunflower and all that. Also too, the microsurfacing crew, are planning on coming around the 1st of October to start on microsurfacing. They've been delayed by quite a bit, but they had mentioned about possibly bringing in 2 crews and get it knocked out as soon as possible. So,
That's awesome.
at this point, I don't have anything else unless you have something for me.
Thank you for the update on that roads projects, appreciate it.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Yeah. You got it.
All right, guys, thanks.
Oh, wait, would you like to go back in executive?
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
We're not letting you out that easy.
I was trying to get out of here.
Want to get something ironed out this week.
Yes. Think 10 minutes, we can get it, or do you want to? All right, I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss job performance of specific employee pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the board, Steve and Tina, for 10 minutes from 2:31 to 2:41.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. We will be back at 2:41 in this room after closed session. Red lights on. We are out of executive session, no decisions made. I would like to make a motion. That would be that we develop, in the Road and Bridge Department, we develop an administrative coordinator position. And we also look at making amendments to the superintendent description and the shop supervisor position, and review those next week.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. Is there discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Steve. I
Thank
think
you,
you've made
guys.
a lot of progress.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve, have a good day.
Thank you, I will.
Don't forget your hat now.
I left it in the truck.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I don't think he ever wears a hat.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, outside.
Oh, my goodness, there's a
Hi,
stranger.
guys.
Hello.
We got a crew today. I know. I know exactly why. Hi, Kurt.
Hey. Are you doing executive first or doing general first?
Whichever you prefer to do.
I'd probably do executive first and get these guys.
Get them back in the field. All
Yeah.
right, 15 minutes? Or how long?
Sure, I think that's what you had down. but-
Okay, if that works. I'll take a sheet away. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss job performance of a specific individual employee pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item personnel matters, non-elected personnel, with the board, Kurt, and Tina, and Chuck, Kevin, for 15 minutes from 2:47 to 2:32.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 2:32.
No, what time?
15 minutes. Oh, not 32.
So it'd be,
3:02.
3:02.
Sorry, 3:02. Wow.
Okay, and did you already vote?
Yes, 5-0.
Okay, sorry, I just got so distracted by the time, I was like.
I was not.
I like we're going back in time.
Yeah, nothing like making a note. So I'm gonna have to sign someone to calculate.
It'll take me a moment to get the attorney meeting back up here. Do it as quick as I can.
Will now be recorded.
Okay, lady, talk to the red lights on. We are out of executive session, no decisions made. Would the commission like to go back in for another 5 minutes? No?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'd move that we recess into executive session to discuss job performance specific employee pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item number 1, personnel items, not elected personnel performance with the board, Kurt and Tina for 10 minutes, 3:03 to 3:13. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garing, you got the time right, it'll be 3:13. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0, back at 3:13.
Everybody leave Phyllis.
I've heard about this for a lot of years, but I've never read on it or anything like that. Just, I know some people collect both.
Not,
Not anymore.
it's one or the other.
One or the other.
Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. I'm gonna move that we recess into executive session for another 5 minutes in order to discuss job performance specific employee pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel with the board, Chuck, Kurt, and Kevin, and Tina for 5 minutes from 3:15 to 3:20. They will not, some of them may not stay in for the entire session.
Okay. Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0, back at 3:20. Okay, now
Just-
I'm gonna make one wrong. I forgot what he's doing.
This conference will now be recorded.
Lady with broken red light is on. Out of executive session, no decisions made. At this point, I would make a motion to offer the position of interim director of Marion County EMS to Chuck Kinney with the 10% salary adjustment. Also included with that, the administrative specialist would have a 10% salary adjustment for 3 months or until the position is filled, the full-time director.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Chuck, do you accept the position?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take one down, take one down.
Take one down and pass it around, but not that one, because that is mine. That one's yours.
Okay.
I'll try to get caught up here a little quicker. How are you? Also take one down and pass it around.
Favorite topic?
George Rolls.
The tree mills are, trees are falling, aren't they?
Yes, they were. This was to be my quarterlies with everything. The only thing I have today is the write-off request. In July, our billing vendor did a software update and we lost all of our records for the past year. Everything lost was the patient's name, their charges, the write-offs, debits, credits, all the coding, everything. They have started to manually enter everything back into the system, but until everything's back in, the numbers will be skewed and completely incorrect. So the only thing I have today is the write-off. I don't have any financials on income and outcome.
You don't back up the cloud or anything?
It did not back up correctly.
Make a motion.
They
So
had
is
Lloyd
the
involved, they had vendor involved, and they could not recover it.
Make a motion to write off $4,962.16 from previous bills.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Dalkey, second from Commissioner Becker for the write-offs in the EMS department. All those, any discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
And the other thing I passed around was just the calls for the past quarter. We're averaging. What's it put it on the wrong list here? Averaging about 98 calls a month up to this point, which will put us around 1,100 some odd calls for the year if we keep on the current pace. However, September through the end of the year, we usually pick up over 100, another 7 to 8 calls per month. So we should be on about track if that follows history to be where we've been the last few years. But it's been kind of a slow summer, but it's starting to pick up again. They should be in front of their breakdown of every unit in every city. Any questions on any of those? And the last thing, I'll get out of here. I can give you the final report of everything we have. 8/24, state inspection. State brought out 2 inspectors, went through the office, went through the ambulances, went through all of our records. Officially, we have 3 listed deficiencies. We had a handful of minor things that were corrected on site, which in the big scheme of things, it's corrected and does not go against us. We only have 3 red flags officially. Basically, the biggest things we had that need to be corrected is our equipment list. We had a general list. Each truck doesn't have exactly the same stuff on it, so they said they have to match for the truck. So basically, all I had to do was put a sheet together for each unit, and we had to resubmit that to the state, which was done last week. The other one was our backup truck was being worked on, and we just did pull the IV medications and such out. It was up on the shelf and locked, but when it is off-site, it is supposed to be removed, and it was just an oversight, and it's been removed. That was corrected. Other minor things on the list there, you can see, and one of the things that was brought up, we got a lot of discussion on, was the Peabody ambulance had a light on. It was reported as a injector, but when they hooked it up, it was not an injector, it was a glow plug and a sensor issue. That was fixed as of last week as well. So as of today, everything has been corrected that is listed on that sheet in front of you in terms of deficiencies. Every unit was listed as a pass. We just had to fix a couple things.
Glow plug, your diesels are all plugged in though, right?
Correct. I don't know.
Wow, they write you up on a glow plug when you've got a block heater running.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't understand what some
They gotta
things are.
find something.
I just received a picture in the mail of the Marion, it's the Marion ambulance, gave me a, this is as it sits 15 minutes ago.
Over Midway?
Well, punchy.
We still have one ambulance that is at Midway being looked at. I talked to them today and said, if you guys can't fix the AC problem, we are going somewhere else. And they have not got hold of the
But this thing got all kinds of stuff going off on it.
Oh, that's, sometimes your camera does that digitally.
Good.
It's scrolling.
All the engine lights, everything are going off.
Oh.
You can-
Yeah, camera, yeah.
You ever done that with a propeller on the plane? It messes your camera.
Yeah.
Does
I
it?
mean, is that a vehicle we'll put out on the road?
I'm not even sure what you're looking at or what you have. So.
That's something to do with your camera on your phone. You take pictures like that.
Well, you know, it said that there's all kinds of lights going off on it.
I had a check engine light.
Well, even the radio was doing something.
Oh, yeah, it's all your camera.
Windmills.
Okay, Commission have any other questions for Kurt? Okay, Kurt, I would like to thank you for your performance to Marion County. When you stepped into this job the first day, you were faced with overwhelming equipment issues and problems. You came into a situation where there were hospital relationship issues. You came into short staffing issues. And you tackled every one of those. For me, I won't speak for the other commissioners, but from my perspective, I thank you for the work you've done for Marion County. It's very much appreciated, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Like you in a ride.
Yeah.
Life goes. I just really think you ought to stay.
That ship has sailed, unfortunately.
Good luck in the future. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Okay, ready for Sharon? to do administrative.
Yep.
You got a box?
We have two. We have two hot seats or?
As many as you need.
All right. I'll hand these out. Most of this is homework.
What? Can we take the test online?
You could, you probably could, yes. The big stack of papers here is an updated version of the zoning regulations.
For about the whole book?
Yes, take all of your old material out and put all the new material in.
Wow.
Save nothing?
That's right.
Okay.
This replaces all previous
I can
versions.
handle that.
Yeah.
Like getting buried.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Sharon hates trees.
That poor copier.
Yeah, I know. Poor Jesse, we had to punch all those holes. And shout out for.
The trees
helping
were not
with that.
permitted in the right place.
That's right.
That's how we took care of it. Okay, so also, let me make sure I have my copy. Tina. You like this? Thank you. You're welcome. So I apologize. We had a family emergency Friday and I didn't get a chance to get this summary to you on Friday. So I'll just work through this quickly. I know you've had a long day. This is just my quarterly update. As far as permits, we've had, a nice steady amount of permitting going on, new residences, several wells, wastewater systems. We've had one C&D reduction plan application and 5 public hearings. So that's pretty cut and dried there. Wind farm update, most of the reclamation is done. The $350,000 check was received for microsurfacing reimbursement on Sunflower and Nighthawk. The office remodeling project out at 1240 Commercial, those bids are due back on the 22nd. So far, we've had 2 general contractors show some interest. We may get some more bids, but we've only had 2 that have really questioned or asked to see the building so far. The countywide flood map update, the appeal period has ended. The tentative final determination is expected in December, and then we'll start that adoption process to adopt the new flood maps for the county. September 18th through 22nd is Septic Smart Week. So we have information available at our office, or we can provide flyers, or there's a plethora of information on this site. You can go to that EPA.gov site, just reminding people to maintain their septic tanks properly, have them pumped every 3 to 5 years, what to look for, what should be happening, what you should or should not flush down your drains.
Tell a kid that.
Yeah, in the city especially.
Yeah. And then moving into this next issue, a lot of people don't think about their wastewater systems when they're on a private system until they have to replace it. And that's a good chunk of money. There is an NRCS program that does some cost share, and it's based on location of the wastewater system in conjunction to, excuse me, like a well or a body of water or different contamination possibilities. KDHE is offering Marion County a state water plan funds grant in the amount of $50,000 to use towards septic system repairs or replacement. This would be income based. So if the household's income is 133% of poverty, then we could offer 100% funding for
a new septic system or repair septic system. If the income level is between 134 to 200%, and I made a chart, that's the second page there. You can kind of see what those income levels might look like. That would offer 85%. This would be a first come, first served type assistance. The money would be basically given to the county, and then the county would take applications for this program and also have to have proof of income in that their proof that their wastewater system is failing, and then the county could allocate those funds to those applicants. The grant also could cover household water well testing, but the county, we do our own testing here, or our own screening. We can test for coliform bacteria, E. coli, and nitrates already. So they had offered to maybe provide conductivity equipment that we can test. Conductivity has been directly linked to some other issues, so at certain levels you can test and they'll know that there may be something else going on with your water besides bacteria and nitrates, and then we can refer them to the certified lab. And what else am I forgetting here? I guess the goal is to improve water quality by eliminating or at least reducing the amount of pollutants that are going into the groundwater. And a lot of times failing septic systems are what's causing that ground pollution and making their water unsafe to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So KDHE had a phone conference with me last week about this opportunity. Only 5 counties in the state have been offered this opportunity. So there were $250,000 total, and they decided to split it up amongst those 5 counties.
Good job.
You know, $50,000 is a good chunk of money. I don't know specific prices right now, but septic systems can run 8 to 10 grand. So, you know, that could really help out some folks that are on a lower income basis.
So if you are building a lateral field.
Right. It only covers septic systems. The state is big on septic systems. We do a combination of both. We do lagoons and septic systems in the county. Kind of depends on soil type and location and other contributing factors on the property. So
Just promote that on the county website, or?
we could do that. We could, I mean, there are a lot of different ways that we could advertise it. We can send something out in the annual tax statement maybe. I don't know for sure. We could put it on our website. We can.
Start there, and a lot of the cases come to you anyway for
Right.
inspections.
Is that for this year or next year, or both, or till the money's gone?
So there's still some questions I need to ask about this. I believe they said that it would start at the beginning of the year and applications would close in June. However, they did say that the money rolls over, so they don't want the money back.
Okay.
I said, okay, great.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news. Very good. Well, that's a real asset for Marion County. We appreciate you doing it. It'd be nice to get the word out.
Yeah, and I think that it would just
Very
take
newsworthy.
Sorry?
Very newsworthy.
Yes, definitely. I mean, that can really help some people.
Yeah.
A lot.
Good.
So I think that KDHE needs confirmation from the commissioners that you'd be willing to take that money.
Oh.
Or if you'd like if you have any questions, maybe we can communicate back and forth and ask those questions before you make a decision.
Did you receive an official award letter or anything like that at this point?
Not yet. It's kind of a pilot program. So they have there was like a 5-page thing that they emailed me, and it was pretty basic, that included what the program is and the application, or kind of a template application that we could use. So
Tina,
I'll
would
have
you
to
recommend
verify.
waiting until we get the formal, or?
Well, I think that it would be good to have a little bit more information
Okay.
and then you can decide, because there's probably a lot of things that we're gonna have to figure out, like what the application looks like, who is in charge of approving the applications, and whether the criteria, you know, all that stuff has to be developed.
And from my understanding, it's based solely on income and failing system, and it's first come, first served. So if I can verify
And that
that.
makes it easier.
Yeah, if I can verify that their system is in fact failing and that, you know, they provide whatever tax return or a tax statement or something like that, and we can verify their income somehow, then that money is available to be awarded.
And whether ownership comes into that, you know.
Right. One of the questions I asked was whether they would need a W-9 from these folks if they're being awarded this money. I think that some people shy away from that sometimes, so they're still gonna get back to me about that question.
Very good. Other questions on the program? Again, thank you for working, getting that put together.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have that opportunity.
Got 1 of 5 in the state, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Was honored and didn't get it.
We'll take it.
Right. I know we can use it. Do you have any other questions for me? Or if you think of any questions that you want me to ask the state about this grant opportunity, please email me, call me, stop by.
Send the money.
Okay.
Not the mandates, just the
Question
money.
I would have, like, would be the reporting that you have to do, what
Okay.
kind of reporting is required.
Okay.
Buy bulk septic tanks and have them sitting out there next to the building.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be good advertisement.
This would be the program.
Right.
You know, you gotta get the tube out of the house and the tube out. But you can have this and sit it in the hole.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions?
We're good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
read all these, we'll be ready for a test.
Yeah, I'll call you back tomorrow and see how that went.
Designate chairman. Report back.
Thank you.
Give a brief outline.
All right, we're ready to go back to administrative items. Will that be done by 5 o'clock?
Oh, yeah.
We still have administrator, which is a long list.
In your packet, you have the substantial compliance information from the appraiser's office.
Kudos to the appraiser's office.
Yeah.
Good job.
Keeps on achieving.
Okay, sorry, got a lot of stuff in this packet. People are probably getting dizzy online if they're watching me go through it. Sorry. Okay, so I have the minutes from September 11th.
Okay, minutes of September 11th. Commission have any additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Lockie, motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Becker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 4 with 1 abstain,
Okay.
since I wasn't there.
I do see something here since, oops.
She broke the pencil out. It's serious.
I need to fix that, so since chairman's back, I'll put your name on here and I need to move my name over. So I'll have to reprint that and get your signature here shortly.
Oh,
Since
okay.
you're the one who gets to sign this one.
Oh, okay.
So,
Just make sure, do it.
Yeah, he can sign it.
yes, you can, but I also still need to fix the spacing. It's a permanent record, it has to look good. Okay,
Okay.
so I'll bring that back
Thank
up
you.
here shortly.
Thank you.
Let's see. We do have, early checks, is that right? It's in your packet. A total of $27,531.89.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Crowfoot, is there a second? All second it. Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay, motion carries 5-0.
Double check, making sure I'm somewhere on that list.
Oh.
I think
It was a partial, so.
Yeah, the other, last week was a partial that I had to.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, last week was, oh, that was a close vote.
We did receive the first invoice for the architectural services for the health department in the amount of $11,025. And just wanted to get approval to go ahead and pay that invoice, and also where are we gonna pay it from? Where would you like the payment to come?
Can we pay that from our funds?
If that's what you vote to do, yes, you can.
I'd move to pay the invoice and take the funds from ARPA. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot, discussion.
Is this billing coming to us falling in line with what they scheduled? I didn't go back to their
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
pay plan.
it's got a pay schedule here, it shows you what lines they're pulling out of.
There's part 1A and part
Yeah, so you,
A and part.
phase 1A and all of phase 1A, phase 1B, there's still 4,000 left in there. And the other two, phase 2 and 3 haven't been touched.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Okay, 5-0.
Okay, thank you. We do have copy paper bids
Special insurance.
for 200 cases.
No joke.
Baker's not within 10%.
Okay.
Who's this other guy?
He's Hillsborough, but his business is in Wichita.
He lives in Hillsborough.
Used to be in Newton, then he moved it to Wichita, but he's Hillsborough guy.
So there are, we have for 100 cases or for 200 cases on there.
Have we normally been buying 100 cases?
It depends. I didn't go back the last time
Do we
to
have
see.
room for 200 cases?
Basically what they do is they bring us a little at a time.
Oh, we don't have to
They don't
store.
bring it all at once.
So it's locking in the price.
It's locking in the price, so.
Would you recommend the 200 or?
I haven't really looked to see, when the last time we ordered was. Everything was going up really regularly before, and so I don't really have a recommendation at this time.
We don't have any way of telling what the next one's gonna be that.
Kind of like lumber paper.
Okay, is there a motion from the commission?
I'll make a motion to go with Baker Brothers.
For how many
Over
cases?
10% different.
For
100 or 200?
$100.
100. As needed, up to 200.
I'll second that.
Okay, 100 or 200? The bid was for 100 cases and for 200 cases. So we have to choose one or the other.
This is for a year's worth, or?
It's till it runs out.
200.
Okay, just a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gearing, second by Commissioner Crowfoot to go with Baker Brothers Printing on a bid of 200 cases for $9,500. Discussion?
You are over, you just can't say it, you're over your 10% there.
Right.
So, yeah, we have tried staying if it's within that 10%, but this is over the 10%, I think we ought to rethink it.
They've always been within 10% in the past, now.
Baker has a brick and mortar location in Marion County.
Right.
base property tax.
So then let's change our policy, say 15%, if we're gonna do that. We need to have some kind of guideline. You're not being transparent with the taxpayers if you don't.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah, we can
Change
change
the
the policy, but the, I don't know, every
I
dollar's.
mean, we all wanna do business here locally, but at some point,
So do you want to change the policy before the vote?
gotta be
I don't think you
cost-effective.
can, you have
I don't
You
think we
have
can do that.
Finalize what's
to,
on
you
the
have to
table.
finalize what's on the table before another motion's.
The 10% was just a recommendation, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't a hard and fast,
Yeah.
but we've been following it for a number of years.
Well, how about we take action on this and following this, we
Yeah.
can have a vote on policy.
Right.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carried 4-1. Commissioner Dalkey opposed. Now, would there be a motion to change our in-county purchasing policy?
Yeah, I would make a motion to change that for Marion County businesses to 15%.
Very good. I'll second the motion. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion carried 4-1, Dalkey opposed. All right, what next? While you're madly scribbling notes.
All right, we have some repairs that need to be made in the flooring, the hallway outside the courtroom. There's a big crack that has developed in the linoleum floor, and that's just in the hallway there. And so right now, we have a heavy-duty rug covering it, so nobody's gonna trip, but we do have 2 bids to prepare that area, and they both are the same amount, actually, $2,300 for county seat and then Supreme Court.
There's a recommendation. There's, I mean, obviously
You
one should.
have to look at what you're getting.
Yeah, Shaw, Philadelphia.
They
I don't
bid
even know
exactly
what
the
that
same
is.
product,
It is?
yes.
But does the one, they're talking about underlayment, does the one have an underlayment?
They initially did not, the Supreme Floor, and I asked them to include it in their bid, and that's what the new bid is,
What are
so.
we supposed to do, flip a coin?
I mean, it might be handier just to have the one that's close by, but,
Well, they're both close by.
down the street.
Okay, down the street.
But,
One
I
is
mean,
there,
either way.
One's there.
Okay, how about response time? Well, I guess you would know without asking, would you?
The work is gonna have to be managed during off hours, and
Right.
they both, understood that, so.
They both work at night.
So I guess you could flip a coin if you want to,
Okay.
I don't know how you have a.
or just make a decision.
We're commissioners. we don't
What's the
make-
fairest way to do this? Probably would be to flip a coin.
Yeah, but
Flip
anybody
that.
I don't have a coin. Tina, do you have a quarter? That way it's independent.
As long as one of them doesn't say, I wanted to call heads and I wanted to call tails.
I'm gonna, oh, I'll let Tina's independent, we'll let her flip, that way you don't get, you might have a trick coin.
Yeah.
I did have a funny coin, but I didn't.
You're not gonna use it.
I'm not gonna bring
I'm gonna
it.
have Commissioner
You
Becker
got flip
call
it.
it, you flip it,
Okay.
I'm independent.
All right.
Okay, but I'll have the chairman assign who gets head and who gets tails.
Oh, okay.
We have to know that.
Okay, Marion heads, Hillsborough tails, how's that?
Marion's heads and Hillsborough's tails.
Flip it.
I'm not a very good flipper.
No.
It's,
I can't tell. Oh, it's heads.
All right, there we go.
So now I wanna go 2 out of 3?
How else you gonna,
Nope.
how else you gonna do it?
I'm sorry, but when the bids are identical,
Never have that hardly same bid.
but both are very
You
good.
fill that out?
yes, they're
Companies
both.
together. We appreciate both
No.
putting the bids.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
We're
I was looking for was contagious. But
It's not often that you hear that we flip a coin. That's a first for me.
Up with the word.
That's a first for you.
Well, I'm trying to think of something. It's been a while.
Thank you for.
On bids, anyway. On bids, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is.
So I do have one piece of paperwork for the finalizing the repair on the dam. The commission already approved the payment and everything. There's just one little spot on this paperwork that I need the chairman's signature, and there's no action required on that.
All right.
Thank you.
Shut it down.
I put a survey at each of your places for United Way. If you could take some time and fill it out and get it back to me, that would be great. I've got 2 requests for hunting.
Okay.
One of them is an individual that was already approved for the regular season, and now they have had the opportunity to use a muzzle loader, and so they wanted approval for the muzzle loader extended season. And
From one of the
that is,
original applicants?
yes, the original applicants, they did fill out a new application for the new season, for this extended season, and that is for, I'm trying to see if I can find on that paperwork. Clayton Chance is the name of that individual. I have too many papers in here.
There's a long list of administrators.
Well, I was saving that for you, because I did have a lot actually, but, so I do have the application for that.
Our meetings were like an hour and a half.
Believe
max.
And
I'll
then
be glad to leave.
I also have a second one that I just got today, and this is for a new applicant, Ian Bennett, and this for, the regular firearm season and the pre-reg season. So I've got both of those for you to look at, and then we just need a motion and a vote to approve.
We already have 2 out there.
These are the same 2.
These the same 2?
Yeah, they're just looking for extended seasons.
Yeah. I'm gonna do them separately though. Application from Clayton Jantz, that was the one for Missouri.
Yeah.
I would move to approve that. For-
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Anyone want to look at them?
Who was the other one?
The other one?
That Jantz kid we've done for years.
Yeah.
No, Randy Jantz.
Son.
His son.
I'm sorry, Tom Bennett.
Ian Bennett.
Ian Bennett.
Ian Bennett, I'm sorry. I move to approve Ian Bennett for any permit at the landfill.
And this is just for muzzle loaders?
No, the one's muzzle loader, the other
Those
one's
extended.
extended.
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner Dalkey. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
I put the little brochure there for you. The annual meeting for the Marion seniors is October 19th, and the meal is $7 this year. It's here in Marion. So I'll be getting back with you to see who all's gonna go and make
Okay.
sure we have the money collected for that. Earlier, when you did the budget, I did not have you approve the 8th Judicial District budget, which we have 3 of them. Generally, we have an approval of those, and then the commission chairman signs these 3 pages.
So you said there were 3 different.
Well, there's 3 different budgets. I mean, one's the overall district budget, one's the,
And we reviewed them, so there's
so you've reviewed them all. It's
Yep.
just a matter of accepting them.
8 judicial budget.
You can do it as presented or as amended. And the amounts that are in these, in the the only amount that we have put in our budget is the Marion County amount, and it's in our budget that you've already approved. This is the court trustees budget, that's separate.
Oh.
This one is.
No,
Uh,
she's
well,
got something
this
going on.
is-
I think you've probably seen the yesterday.
Oh, well, okay, so. Just
I'll
go
let
by
you
the
know
tab.
later.
So
You
this
tried to be
first
nice
one
to her, but she-
is the
Yeah,
Marion County
she
budget.
wants to-
Oh, okay.
She's taking
And
away the
so
top.
Gotcha.
our amount
understand
is
that.
205.
Okay.
Mhm.
No,
How do you do
We
those?
gotta have that,
separate.
we gotta go over that, yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
I'll do you separate. I've seen that. Nothing we can
Okay, we
Scotty will
previously,
fix maybe there is.
do. Anyway.
we've previously reviewed 8 judicial district budgets. There are 3 of them. The first one is for the Marion County 8 judicial budget, $205,183.87. I would move to approve. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Becker. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next budget is the overall district budget in the amount of $165,682. I move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Dalkey. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Those Marion County numbers.
The first one is Marion County.
They should be broken
Overall-
out each one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say is, this is.
This one is the, oh, this
This is the general budget.
general. So Marion County share was $21,538.66.
I was gonna say, those numbers seem a little high.
Yep, sorry.
I thought that was just.
Well, our.
Ours is the 205.
Mhm.
Okay, so backing up overall.
Well,
The tab.
just the way
Marion
that.
County budget.
Yeah, sorry.
Marion County budget, 205,183.87. The overall district budget, Marion County share, 21,538.66. The last one is the court trustee budget. Where's the breakdown of it?
We don't pay that, that's just their.
That's their budget.
Right.
Okay, so, all right. Court trustee budget, each judicial district for Marion County, the grand total is $409,460.
So just as clarification, the only part that we put in our budget is that 205,184. The rest of these are all pieces and parts of their budget. They do require commission approval from all the districts, or all the counties in the district, but we don't really, those funds don't affect our budget, just that 205.
So I move approval of the court trustee budget for the each judicial district. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Crowfoot. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing the way that
Sorry
is. Did
about
you
that.
sign all those pages?
I did not.
Or the tab, sorry.
And we just don't have court in here,
But it wasn't to do with money. Not from us.
And the only other thing I had on my list was the county Christmas party. So there was an idea of possibly doing something a little bit different if the board wants to, and of maybe do like a dinner theater kind of production where you have a more expanded entertainment and then have dinner, dinner and a show kind of thing. So, if there's any interest in that.
Well, I'm not gonna be the entertainer.
Well, the chorus that we had last year is doing, there is a Christmas kind of show that we can have.
I would
them do.
really like that.
Yeah.
And so it's, rather than just like a little bit of singing, it'd be more of a show with a theme. We would potentially need to have it at a different location, but, you know, we could potentially have that ready to go pretty quickly if the board is interested.
Whatever we can do to get more people to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we were thinking, maybe change it.
It's a city building.
Yeah, alright. have a lead on that, so, except if the board's interested in doing that, so have a catered meal, but do more of a dinner theater kind of a.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Try something different.
Yeah. Everybody sit down, visit with each other.
There's the long skinny tables, we try
Right.
to do like round
Yeah.
tables.
Yep. I think you got, I see 4 thumbs up. We got one more. Yep, we got 5 thumbs up.
Also dates, looking at potentially Saturday, December 9th or the 16th. I know the building's available on the 9th. I have not checked on the 16th.
What's on the night?
Well, if, I would say we'd probably do it at the Marion Community, and
Yeah.
they have, that, on the 9th, the building is available that
Okay.
night.
I'd
I
do it the
didn't-
night,
Yeah.
Earlier
as soon
is
as you
better.
could, before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
9th?
It's only 2 weeks before Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So,
I see
what is
9th
everybody?
as the
Ninth.
consensus.
Do you have a conflict?
No, not that I
Okay.
know of.
Okay.
I probably will, but.
You get to pick and choose.
I do, usually, always, but.
I'm good. Okay,
So
let's
go
do
with
that.
that?
Let's go with
Okay.
the 9th.
All right.
We got a Christmas plan.
I do those conflicts every day. Before the meeting, as you see me over here,
Mhm.
I had to run back to Hillsborough, line up another one.
Okay.
I have a fight, drive all the way back here. I didn't get mine, so that's squashed out of Gilbert.
You're on the road, so what else?
I think that's all. Thanks a lot.
There was a request for an executive session. For 5 minutes, before we do that, I want to recognize the county clerk's office for first prize at the state fair.
Yay.
Good job, good job.
So we'll get a check for the food bank, it'll be $100 for the Marion County Food Bank, and our award is in the hallway, if
Very
anybody
well
wants to go
done.
look at it.
Yes.
Very well
That was
done.
on the layout,
Yeah, the
courthouse and the scarecrows.
Yep,
Yep.
scarecrow thing.
Yep, it's out there,
Yeah.
if you want to look at it, we had a lot of details in there, so.
I think just leave it up there.
Took a couple days to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, all the employees in there are working on it.
Yeah. Executive session.
Oh, I don't know if you want commission
I just had a
comments.
commission comment.
Okay.
I printed each one of these off for you guys. We had our Marion County Raps meeting last week. As you
Yes.
all know, Lisa
Yeah.
Suderman was talking to us about Wolf Creek tapping Marion Reservoir.
Right.
It has been approved.
Really?
It has been approved up to 20% of conservation pool, which would turn our reservoir into a mud hole. We're gonna have to do something. Scott Hill's working, he's doing research on it now. I just talked to him yesterday. He said he'd be back with us in the next 30 days.
Okay.
It's a possibility that we might have to, if you look through there, they've got all of these, in southeast Kansas, they've got all of these different assurance districts.
Mhm.
There's a whole bunch of them now in southeast Kansas. And he said that it's a possibility, we'd have to talk to our attorney and stuff, what it would take to form one of those and what kind of authority that we could actually get from the state, because the state owns that water. The committee met in McPherson, didn't even discuss, there was no discussion, they just voted on it. And one of our state senators was behind that. So we need to be talking to, on the back there, you got the contact. Of course, Scott's up on it pretty well. Wilborn probably needs to be, but this could be a huge issue for this county if they actually, now not to say they ever will,
20 years from now.
but if they ever tap 20% of this reservoir out here, we'd not only lose all the recreation value, we'd lose all the sales tax value, we'd lose property valuation like crazy, especially in that area. So we had a big representation from East Shore there. They're very, very concerned.
Yeah. So was Lisa talking about forming the insurance district? I'm trying
No,
to remember. her
Scott is looking into that.
Okay. What was-
Lisa's not sure what we can do, but
Well,
she's,
okay. I thought she was talking about
well,
forming.
she was kind of
irrigation
alluding to
district.
some of that too.
Irrigation district, but an insurance district would probably be the way to
Yeah.
go.
there was an irrigation
Yes.
district option.
So
that
I
could buy us like
asked
six.
Scott to
Good.
report back to the commission if you would in the next 30 days.
Good.
Because, I mean, at this point, it's a done deal and nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I got told.
Soil conservation didn't know
Manhattan.
about it.
Okay. Keep it, I know I've had contacts, people would like to be involved when it gets to that point.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if you
I
need
think,
letters, need calls.
I think there's quite a few people, that, you know, and.
But we need to know what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we need to know what to do and what
Right.
steps need to be taken.
Take it over.
Anyway, that's where we're at.
Okay. Thank you for that update. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. All right, move to be recessed to executive session in order to discuss the job performance, or what?
Personnel performance.
Okay, job performance of a specific employee.
Yes.
Pursuant to KSA
5 minutes.
75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel with the board and Tina.
Tina, yes.
Okay, for 5 minutes, it's 4:13, 4:18. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Balky. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay.
Aye.
Motion carried. We'll be back in this room at 4:18.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even get to stand up.
It's 4:20, do you need to clock out?
I was supposed to have all of it.
Possibility.
This conference will now be recorded.
That's your appointment.
Do it tomorrow. All right, out of executive session, no decisions made. Public forum, any public comments? Not seeing any.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there any commission comments? I think we've covered it.
No, I think we covered it.
All right, Commissioner Gehring has a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Dalkey gets it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for a long day.
Did everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just seen that.
Just now.